Before we dive into one of the most bizarre and chilling mysteries to ever hit Hollywood, make sure to subscribe if you love deep dives into unsolved cases, hidden truths, and shocking celebrity mysteries. Trust me, this one is going to leave you speechless. On February 26, 2025, authorities made a disturbing discovery inside a quiet Santa Fe home. The bodies of legendary actor Gene Hackman and his wife, Betsy Arakawa, were found in their mansion, dead under mysterious circumstances. At first, it seemed like a tragic accident, maybe carbon monoxide poisoning or a medical emergency. But as investigators looked closer, things weren't adding up. Gene Hackman's pacemaker revealed he died 9 days before his body was even found. Betsy Arakawa's time of death? Still a mystery. No forced entry, no clear cause of death. One of their dogs also dead, while the other two somehow survived. It's almost like a scene straight out of a movie. Except this time, there's no script. So what really happened inside the Hackman mansion? Was this just a tragic coincidence? A cover-up? Or something much, much darker? Let's get into it. Let's start with what we know. On February 26th, a maintenance worker went to Gene Hackman's home after no one had heard from him or his wife in over a week. Now, this wasn't completely unusual. Hackman was 95 years old, long retired from Hollywood, and he and his wife preferred a quiet life away from the public eye. But something felt off. The worker knocked. No answer. Silence. Then he peeked through the window, and that's when he saw it. 2 lifeless bodies inside the house. One in the foyer, another in a bathroom. The police were called immediately. Now here's where it gets strange. When authorities checked Hackman's pacemaker data, it showed that his heart had stopped beating on February 17th, 9 days before anyone found him. But Betsy? They couldn't determine exactly when she died. Was she alive for days after Hackman passed? Was she unable to call for help? Did she die first, and Hackman just couldn't survive alone? Or was there something more sinister at play? When police entered the house, there were no signs of forced entry, no robbery, no struggle. And then there was the dog. One of the couple's 3 dogs, a Kelpie, was also found dead. But the other 2 were still alive. Now, this raises a huge question. If something toxic killed Hackman and his wife, wouldn't it have affected all the dogs too? If they were poisoned, why did only 1 dog die? And if the deaths were purely natural, why did no one call for help? Then there were the bodies themselves. Hackman was found in the foyer, like he had collapsed while trying to leave. Betsy was found in a bathroom near a pile of prescription medication. That's another huge clue, but also a huge question mark. Did Betsy overdose? Was she in distress? Did she try to take medication after finding Hackman dead? Or was it something else? Now, investigators rushed to figure out what really happened. They tested for carbon monoxide poisoning, but those results came back negative. So if it wasn't carbon monoxide, what could it be? Here are the 4 biggest theories. At 95 years old, Hackman had heart issues and other age-related health concerns. Maybe he passed away naturally on February 17th, and Betsy, shocked and unable to cope, died days later, either from grief, a medical condition, or even dehydration. But here's the problem with this theory. Wouldn't Betsy have called for help? And why was she found in a bathroom near medication? This leads to maybe Betsy was taking prescription medication, trying to cope with Hackman's sudden death and accidentally took too much. Or could she have done it on purpose? This brings us to the next theory. Some believe Betsy couldn't bear to live without Hackman and unalived herself after he passed. But if this were the case, wouldn't she have left a note? Wouldn't she have been found closer to him? And then there's the final and most unsettling possibility. No forced entry, no clear cause of death. A dead dog, a strange timeline. Could someone have poisoned the couple in a way that wasn't easily detected? Maybe an unknown visitor? Maybe something or someone they trusted? And if it was foul play, why? At this point, we have more questions than answers. Why did Hackman die first, but Betsy's time of death is uncertain? Why did only 1 dog die, but not the others? what really happened inside that house for those 9 days. And here's one of the creepiest parts. Some investigators say that if Hackman truly died on February 17th, that means Betsy was alone in that house for days. Was she scared? Was she confused? Did she know what was happening? Or was there something happening that none of us will ever fully understand? As of now, the case is still classified as undetermined. No official cause of death, no explanation, just a house full of mystery. Despite the chilling circumstances of his death, Gene Hackman's legacy is untouchable. He gave us some of the most iconic roles in Hollywood history, from The French Connection to Unforgiven to Lex Luthor in Superman. He walked away from Hollywood on his own terms, choosing a quiet life with the woman he loved. And now, as the world waits for official answers on his mysterious passing, one thing is clear: Gene Hackman's story isn't over just yet. One of the strangest details about this case is how long it took for anyone to notice something was wrong. Think about it. A Hollywood legend and his wife go completely silent for over a week, and no one checks in, no family, no close friends, no neighbors. But here's the weird part. Reports say that Gene Hackman and Betsy Arakawa had standing calls with a few close people, calls that suddenly stopped. Some sources claim that a friend tried calling Gene on February 18th, just a day after his pacemaker says he died. No answer. The same thing allegedly happened with Betsy. People tried to call, but no response. Now in today's world, if someone doesn't answer their phone, we don't panic right away. But after a few days, after a week, at what point did people start to worry? And more importantly, what really happened inside that house during those lost days? Was Betsy alive but unable to respond? Was she in distress, trapped in some way? Did someone deliberately silence them? And here's where it gets even more bizarre. When police checked phone records, there were no outgoing calls from their home line or cell phones after February 17th. No texts, no calls, nothing. Which means, if Betsy was alive for days, she never reached out for help. Now, either she wasn't alive, or something stopped her from making that call. Now, here's a detail not many people are talking about: the days leading up to their deaths. Sources say that in the final months of Hackman's life, his behavior changed. He was more withdrawn. He canceled plans with close friends. He reportedly told one person he was feeling uneasy about something, but never explained what. Was this just an aging Hollywood legend slowing down, or was he afraid of something? Even more unsettling, Betsy was seen grocery shopping alone just days before their deaths. If she knew something was wrong, why was she still out running errands like everything was fine? And then, there's one last chilling detail. A neighbor claims that they saw a strange car parked outside the Hackman home late at night, just a few days before the bodies were found. Was it a visitor? A caregiver? Or someone who had no business being there? Did someone else enter that house? And if so, what did they do? When the autopsy results came in, people expected a clear answer, but instead, more questions. There were no obvious signs of trauma, no clear cause of death. Even toxicology reports were inconclusive. But here's something really weird. Hackman had low levels of an unknown substance in his system. Betsy's results? Completely clean. Now, what does this mean? Could Hackman have accidentally taken something that caused his death? Or was he given something? And if Betsy had nothing in her system, why did she die? Autopsies are usually the key to solving these mysteries. But in this case, they just made everything murkier. Now, here's where things take a wild turn. Shortly after their bodies were found, the FBI was reportedly called in. At first, people assumed it was just standard procedure. But why would the FBI get involved in a case with no clear crime? Unless there was something bigger at play. Some theories suggest that Hackman was connected to something deeper, something he had knowledge of that made his death of federal interest. Now, let's be clear. There's no official proof of this. But there are rumors that Hackman, during his Hollywood years, knew certain powerful people and may have been aware of things the public wasn't supposed to know. Could his death have been a message, a cover-up, A warning? It sounds crazy, but so does dying in your home under completely unexplained circumstances. And then, there's one last thing. Reports say that agents investigating the house took certain personal items but won't say what. Could they have found something we weren't meant to see? And if so, what was Gene Hackman hiding? Here's one of the wildest theories out there. What if Hackman knew something was going to happen to him? What if he was trying to warn people, but no one was listening? Some people have pointed out that his final interviews seemed different. He talked a lot about regrets. He mentioned feeling like his time was running out. He even joked in one interview about having things to say before it's too late. What if that wasn't a joke? What if he wanted to tell us something but never got the chance? And if so, what was it? At the end of the day, we still don't have answers. Gene Hackman was one of the greatest actors of all time. But his final chapter? It's a story still being written. Because until we know the truth, his death will remain one of Hollywood's greatest unsolved mysteries. And if there's one thing we've learned over the years, secrets don't stay buried forever. Now I want to hear from you. Do you think this was just a tragic accident? Or do you believe something more sinister happened? What do you make of the strange timeline? The missing phone calls? The FBI involvement? Drop your thoughts in the comments and let's get this discussion going. And if you love these deep dives into Hollywood's most chilling mysteries, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. Because trust me, this story isn't over yet. And if you want to stay up to date with shocking Hollywood mysteries, celebrity investigations, and dark secrets hidden behind the silver screen, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. Because trust me, there's always more to the story. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.